Hello, everybody, and welcome back for round 3 of the PSS4. We're here in week 4. I'm Michael Hoyp. I'm joined back in the booth. We've got Flint Espil. How's it going, Flint?
Hi, everybody.
All right, we have a matchup between Ryan Grodzinski and Aaron Dix. What are you looking forward to in this match?
Um, Magic the Gathering.
Magic the Gathering. Well, that's what we have, so that's good.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. What are the odds?
All right, I'll bring up the deck list that we have, or the decks. Ryan has brought Tradewind Survival, Enchantress, and Stasis. And Aaron has brought Zombies, Sly, and Fluctuator. The Enchantress deck for Ryan is banned. And then the Fluctuator list that we just saw from Aaron is banned. So do we want to talk about potentials, or should we just jump right into what decks they're playing?
So I was in the group chat that Ryan messaged, so I know what he's on.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna guess that Aaron Dix is gonna run that sweet, sweet slide deck.
Okay. So if we go over to Ryan's deck, he is playing none other than the Tradewind Survival deck. So this is the debut of Ryan's. This is kind of, is this just like his most nostalgic deck, or is it because I feel like he has played this before, or like he gravitates towards this. Like I don't think it's the best deck in pre-modern, but it certainly is a blast to play. Uh,
This is actually the first like really competitive deck that I ever played against when I was playing Arena League back in the day when like Tempest block was a thing and we were moving into Urza Saga. And the guy who beat me with the deck went on to win states that year. And I still remember it. I'm still super nostalgic for it as well, but I'm mostly excited to see Ryan pilot it because I think that as you were sort of alluding to, this really is his deck. And I think he plays it really, really well. And I was excited for this potentially last week when we were talking about him. And I'm excited to see him play it tonight.
yeah, and then so for Aaron, he has gone with none other than the trusty red deck, the Sly.
Shocking.
Yeah, and so
See what I did there?
yes, the I can see the the trade and survival deck kind of dirtling around. So it'll be interesting to see if it is able to get things online. Um, I my gut is telling me that Sly has an edge in this match. I don't know if there are silver bullets or certain angles that the Tradewind deck can take to kind of shut out the aggressiveness. But if you're spending too much time kind of like casting a 1/4, Sly might beat you up. So we'll see.
We shall.
Do you want to add anything before we jump down to the match?
No, I mean, a lot of these survival decks can get, I no as in yes, I do. I say that all the time. No, but here's what I'm going to add. I know that sometimes these decks are run like Radiance Dragoons and even Worships, and I'm just trying to skim Ryan's list to see if he has any of that. And I'm not seeing anything else like with a cursory glance here, but let's just see how game one goes, and then we can take a look at the deck list in more
All right.
depth.
All right. I will jump down. Okay, we got the match. You can let the players know that they can begin. Who won the die roll? Do you remember?
It was Ryan.
Ryan. Okay, so that's a big deal, especially
It
anytime
is.
you're playing against Sly. So he's going to be thankful once he realizes what he's up against that he at least won that die roll to give him a fighting chance. Can survival ever beat Lava Dart? If it has like a wall of roots, I think this version definitely can. I think it's much better against the elf survival deck than this one.
Yeah, he's basically hoping for the classic rock strategy against Sly, which is give me all of my wall of roots and all of my wall of blossoms as fast as possible. And then if I can slow down the Sly player just enough, then I'll try to take the game over.
The one thing is like the trademark Tradewind Rider is like this is not the matchup where you really want it. So I don't think that will be a target for his survivals very often.
No, I think he just wants to get a survival in play and get his spike feeder and a recurring nightmare going as fast as possible. And I think if he can do that, I don't think
Okay,
Aaron can beat him.
we got two baubles. Take a peek at what you got. What do we see? We got a Gilded Drake. All right. I don't know if there's any creature in the slide deck that I would want to switch that with. Maybe a Grim Lavamancer at certain points.
City of Brass. He's
City
gonna have
of
to pay for that
Brass.
mana.
All right, Aaron will then lead off with a Jackal Pup, and he's ready to draw those cards as he passes the turn from those Urza's Wobble.
He's real excited about that.
I don't know. I don't have a problem. Just put your hand on there so you just don't forget. Like, I certainly wouldn't. That would not be the triggers I would want to miss and just be down 2 cards.
So Ryan going down to 19 to fetch here. Pretty easy forest. Let's see if he's able to run out a wall here.
Yeah, that's probably like Wall of Roots is probably the most ideal play in this situation. Wall of Blossom's fine, and then maybe a survival after that. You have a Wall of Roots. All right.
There it is. So he goes down to 18 there, tapping the City of Brass. Now, obviously, you swing on the Jackal Pup. You block with the wall. I would imagine it depends on what's in your hand, but a lot of times you don't, right?
A lot of times when I play the rock, I'm more reluctant to block because if I have like a 4-drop in hand, just them using a burn spell to finish it off would be really detrimental. But I don't know if like a lot of times like the Wall of Roots is just really good at activating survival, and like it, I think I would block. Is what I'm saying.
I think if he's got a wall, if he's got a survival in his hand, he doesn't block.
Okay.
But if he doesn't have the survival, he probably does block.
And so a Curse Scroll comes down and a Monk Fanatic. So it looks like the Wall of Roots is going to live. So very good for Ryan. So, I mean, this is kind of a start where at least you've like put up a literal wall, and
Yep.
your life total is being padded a little bit. So the turn 1/2/1 has been put at bay for the time being.
Yep. So going down to 17, and we'll see if he can land a survival, get a squee, and then get a spike feeder. Is that what you go for? Looking at his list here.
Sorry, what'd you say? I was reading the chat.
I said that he could go for the feeder here. I mean, he's pretty far ahead in life. He could just go for something like a deranged hermit and try to just completely stymie everything that Aaron's going to do. But nope, we do in fact see a trade wind rider. It's a good blocker.
Yeah, I mean the 1/4 lines up pretty good against the Jackal Pup. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I guess if you do get to activate it, I mean it's never bad per se. Like if you just have creatures untapped, um, you might just start bouncing lands and making it harder to curse scroll.
Yep. BK with that future sight, calling the trade wind. Here comes everybody's favorite ball, the ball lightning.
Yeah, I don't know if it has a lot of competition, but it probably is everyone's favorite ball.
So trade wind on pup. What do you do with that ball lightning? Block with wall roots?
I mean,
Guess not.
you could make the argument of yeah, I don't know, soaking up that damage. So Ryan falls to 9. I was just talking about how his life total is high, and now it just feels like he's so far gone now already. But Aaron's at 18. That's a fetch land and a damage from the Jackal Pup. Yeah, I don't know. Survival into Spike Feeder, you start gaining 4. But then you kind of need to follow it up with like a recurring nightmare, right? Because otherwise you just give the slide deck enough draws, it's just going to draw that 4 damage and burn over a couple turns.
Being at 9 life here is a little scary.
I mean, Fire Blast always seems to be looming in the hands of Sly players.
A Fire Blast and an Incinerate does it, or a Lightning Bolt.
Yeah, there is one counter on the Wall of Roots currently. And this is a Mana War. So that Mog Fanatic will have to come down next turn. Actually, I mean, it might just. Well, I was gonna say it might not come back down because Curse Scroll activations, but it's probably with I think like 3 cards in hand. It's probably not a reliable source of damage at that point.
I think if Ryan gets to untap, he's in decent shape, but this is going to be a really pivotal turn here.
Ooh, I see that we have a prediction, and I didn't do it. So that must mean that one of the mods did it. And I don't even know how many mods we have here, but whoever did that, well done. Yeah, BK does talk about like when that mana ore was on the stack. Aaron did have the option to sacrifice the Mog Fanatic to deal a damage to Ryan, but then also that would force Ryan to bounce one of his own creatures, and that tempo loss is more detrimental, I think, to Ryan certainly more than Aaron spending 1 mana for the Mog Fanatic.
Brother Fanatic joining the battlefield here. How many cards does Aaron have left? Is it just one, or does he have a couple there?
I found the mod that's here. It's Skinwimble. It's my brother, so
Ah, Brother Hoip.
yes. He and I hope you were watching a little bit because the Fluctuator deck was just played, so we were talking about you for a little bit. All right, down to 5 life. That's with a Mog Fanatic in play. That's always a scary number because usually it's 3 is the magic number for red decks, but with Fire Blast, 4 is a lot of the time. So
Plenty of
Ryan's
blockers now
yeah,
for
say
Ryan.
Ryan's gonna avoid tapping that City of Brass as much as he can. He does have the Birds of Paradise, so he does have access to colored mana in a pain-free way currently. I'm just waiting for Aaron just to untap and a flurry of burn spells to be pointed at Ryan's face. I feel like
How,
I'm just waiting on the edge of my seat, but I like just because Ryan's there's no like quick kill out of his deck, right? There's
no, I
so
mean Hermit's the best one, I think.
okay. He's trying to play the mana denial game. But the problem is like so many of the spells are just so cheap, like lightning bolt. I mean, shock, Mog Fanatic, Crim Lavamancer. Like those are burn spells that, and that's not even counting that. Like right now, he has access to 2 mana,
Yep.
so that would turn on the cards like Incinerate. I think that's the only like 2-drop one. But yeah, so he'd really need like yeah, even if he were if Aaron were only able to have 1 mana per turn, and as long as Aaron's not dying, eventually he would just draw like bolt and kill Ryan.
Yeah, Adrian Sullivan in chat. Premodern's pretty chill. People are usually pretty nice about leaving cards revealed from things like duresses and cabal therapies and bounces and such.
Yeah. So Will's talking about adding the Devour combo in terms of Triskelion, uh, Phyrexian Devourer, and Polaris Shapeshifter, since it is a survival deck. What do you think about that in like in the shell of Ryan's? Do you think that would give it a new dynamic, or do you think that just kind of clogs things up?
I don't know. I haven't played a lot of the Tradewind survival deck. It's definitely a grindier, toolkit kind of approach, but I mean, I could see it. Um,
I mean, it seems valuable, obviously, having that ability to win instantly. The problem is, it's kind of like the rest of your game plan just doesn't seem to add up to that. Like the Tradewind Rider does not look to win quick. It's like, why are you playing Tradewind with this? Like, should you just
yeah,
be playing full English breakfast?
yeah.
That's probably the biggest reason not to, and it's just because it kind of doesn't play with your game plan.
It might be one of those scenarios where maybe you just put those in your sideboard if you have to win like really, really fast, and it kind of has to be all or none. But you're right. Like once those two strategies, which are kind of like oil and water, are put into the same deck, it may not be as good.
All right, I kind of like talked about how Ryan can't apply any pressure any quick, but with the Mastercore coming down and this mana we're getting in, uh, that's not that's not nothing. I would say like they're and he could have started attacking with his Trade Wind Rider if he needed. Well, I think he's still on the mana denial plan.
So we got a question from Sketchy Keep. Is this the only deck in the PSS playing Masticore?
Is that true?
Um,
I would. My hunch says no. That like there's got to be someone else, but I can't think of any of the other lists that are playing it. I don't think any of our rock lists are playing it. I
yeah, I don't see it
You
in
could
any of
just
the other
do Control
lists.
F to Massacre. Meanwhile, it looks like Ryan's deciding of which lands he. So he's deciding whether he wanted to
Yeah, just this one.
bounce a land right now. Okay, there is an Incinerate at end of turn. That's gonna put Ryan to 1. So now he has to just basically fade every burn spell in existence for the rest of the game, which seems very difficult. Oh, we're at upkeep.
He's trying to decide if he wants to bounce the mountain now.
Hey, so
Just
if
take him
you,
off another Incinerate.
what is the why wouldn't you? I guess like what is okay.
Yeah, all right.
Regardless, there's a bolt there, uh, and yeah, that's enough.
Brutal.
I, I, I mean, I feel like Ryan was about to turn the corner. The problem is just when your life total is that low, it's just very difficult.
All right, let's take a look at the decks.
Yeah. All right. Let's go back so we can talk about sideboarding as Ryan has. I'll just start reading off the cards. A Xantid Swarm, a Spore Frog, a Mesmeric Fiend, Withered Wretch, 3 Naturalize, 1 Gorilla Shaman, 1 Uktabi Orangutan, 1 Caller the Claw, 1 Dodecapod. I didn't realize that was in there. 1 Flametongue Kabu, 2 Radiance Dragoons.
There
That's
they are.
there, and a Genesis. So those Dragoons go right to the front. That seems like the most appealing card. Does anything else look
So
good?
good.
Um, like, is there a Genesis in the main, or like I might bring in Genesis as well, just to like, I guess that's a ton of mana to like loop Genesis and Radiant Dragoons. But
No, I mean the rating students for sure. I'm just looking at this his list. Like, what do you take out? You take out a Gilded Drake, you take out a Mesmeric Fiend.
um, I mean, I don't. Is Fiend that bad? I mean, okay, because obviously the Mog Fanatic's good against it, but Mog Fanatic's good against your deck still. Like you still have Birds of Paradise and Curing Ranger and Llanowar Elves. If they use a burn spell on Mesmeric Fiend to unlock another burn spell, are you mad? I don't think so. I don't think Mesmeric Fiend's that bad, but only because there's probably other cards that you can bring out. Um, so Silver like is maybe Manowar is better than Mesmeric Fiend. I don't know, just because it's a 2/2. Monk Realist can come out, right? That doesn't
Now,
hit
I
it.
like
Oh no,
Realist
I guess it
with
hits Self-Worth
survival
Vortex.
because yeah,
Yeah.
Vortex. Like if Ryan stops him from gaining life, then he can put him in a really bad spot. And I think it's better than the Naturalizes. So I think I would just keep the Naturalizes in the sideboard and leave Realist in. Honestly.
What's that other white card in the main? Is it a Monk Idealist or man?
Um, which one? Sorry.
It's on the second row. It's like the second card on the second row.
Oh yeah. I think that is an idealist. You could yeah,
That one can
you
come
could
out.
take that out. Yeah,
I
there's
mean,
not
that's
any
just a 2
enchantment
2.
hate. Yeah, that's there to get survivals back, and Aaron doesn't have a way to interact with survival, so that can come out for sure.
PK says, cut the monkey that Curse Scrolls not beat him. The question, so like, is Manowar better than Uktabi or anything? Like, is a bounce some of the time better than maybe randomly beating a Curse Scroll or getting a Curse Scroll? I don't know. I think maybe both of them come out. Maybe even like a Trade Run Rider comes out. I'm not sure. But I guess we only talked about like bringing in 3 cards. I guess you could bring in Flametongue Kavu, but I don't know. The problem is if it only gets Grim Lavamancer, really, right? It doesn't get. It's kind of liability if it's just Mog Fanatic. It doesn't get Ball Lightning. Like Jackal Pup, it's good against Jackal Pup. Um,
I think if it's me, I probably and granted I don't play this deck a lot, but I probably take out Gilded Drake, Mesmeric Fiend, Monk Idealist, and Mana War, and I bring in Fiend, Dragoon, Genesis.
Yeah,
I
chat's
like
talking
Fiend.
about Spore Frog. That probably does find its way in. Like a 1 mana 1/1
Ooh,
that has a
Froggy.
relevant ability is good. All right, I've moved
Fair
over
enough.
to the Sly sideboard. There are Tormod's Crypts, which could be brought in, but I don't. That's not the angle I like to fight. Like I think you just want to be a consistent deck, but sometimes you bring in the Tormod's Crypt against like the survival decks. Uh, Overload, I don't see a use. Like I'm not. I think you bring in all the lava darts, right? There's just so many X ones.
Are there
There's
the
birds.
birds?
There's Lanorels. There's Kieran
Two
Ranger.
elves, one ranger. Yeah, Winter Orb might not be bad.
Yeah, I mean it depends on the draw. Like if they are able to go like bird wall of roots, then wall
Yeah,
of then Winter Orb looks kind of embarrassing. But um,
indeed.
and then how many? I didn't look at the non basics.
Yeah, so he's got 4 Yavimaya coasts, and he's got um, 2 City of Brass.
So not too many.
No, 1 Undiscovered Paradise.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it could be decent, but
What card are you taking out, or what cards?
if I'm Aaron, I don't know, I just take out the baubles.
Yeah.
His lands are so low though, he probably can't get away with that. Just
Are
given
you are
how
you
few
ever cutting
lands he plays.
Jackal in this? I don't like. I don't know, but
I like Pup.
I don't. I think so too.
Yeah.
I like. I look at shocks a lot of time. It just like or maybe incinerate. It maybe shock's fine because there's so many targets that it's reasonable. That just the clunkiness of incinerate isn't worth it.
I think I agree with Adrian in chat. I think I like the darts and the sulfuric vortex. Yeah, that's probably what I would do. Now, what you take out, I don't know. I'd like to just get rid of the baubles, but probably not feasible.
Like I don't know if you can board out all your baubles.
No,
If
probably
because
not.
he how many lands does he have? Is it 19 or 18?
I think it's pretty low. He's got 4, 8, 17, 18, 19. He's got 19 lands.
All right.
I think he could shave 2 baubles. All right, let's see. I don't play with baubles in my Sly list, so don't ask me. All right. It looks like Aaron may be taking a mulligan, but I'm going to let them know that they can start whenever.
Yeah. I don't know if he did. I didn't, but yeah, they're at least shuffling up. I guess Ryan looks like he's settled on a hand. I guess maybe that is the case, unless Ryan or Aaron just took a little longer to sideboard. Pre-modern players are fairly divided on baubles. I know Flint and I are. I feel like for a while we were the only ones who didn't like it. I feel like everyone kind of jumped on that train pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Um, I personally like Wasteland. I would just play Wastelands instead of baubles, pretty much.
That's what I have in my list. Instead of 4 baubles, I have 4 wasteland. And
The biggest
it's
downside
combo
to me
decks.
is that like I feel weird having Price of Progress and Wasteland. That's a tension. That's weird, but it's really not that bad. What does Lester say? I'm sure I've asked him. I don't remember what his answer was. I think he's probably the one who got me on Wasteland, so he's probably not a bubble. He's probably on team no bubble. Grim Lavamancer. That's turn 1. It's off a fetch land, so uh, it's possible just with a fetch land that like a small birds or Lanarelf would just get shot down without an additional spell. But we see Wall of Blossoms come from Ryan.
Yep. Pretty good. But I don't think that Lavamancer is going to be attacking anytime soon.
It might just for fun.
If he's got a buddy to attack with him, he might.
I mean, make it think about I would attack here. That's what Grim Lavamancers do. Well, I guess they tap sometimes to deal damage, but
He might just sit back and send his familiar. But his familiar won't go and attack. Do you know why?
he skipped his draw step.
No, it's obstinate.
Ah,
All right. So now we get to see the deck try to do its thing this time around. He's not under a ton of pressure. He's got the green mana right now. Let's see where this goes.
All right. So Ryan's decided he does want to block. He's going to block one of them. So he'll take 2 damage, and now Aaron has the decision: does he want to finish off Wall Blossoms? Looks like he's tapping 3 for a Sulfuric Vortex.
There it is. Let's go get a squee and then a monk realist.
Yeah, because I mean, some of the times you might be able to, you have a draw that maybe could get really aggressive really quick, but that you could race the Sulfuric. But Ryan's deck is not set up that well to do that. So I
No,
think he does kind of have to answer this. He doesn't have a white source in play right now.
no, I've got to hope that he has a white source in his hand.
I mean,
What
we
did he
talked
get?
about there's.
I missed what he got.
I didn't see it. There's not that many white sources. We talked about the non-basics. It's just some City of Brasses and an Undiscovered Paradise, and then Birds of Paradise, which is unlikely to stay in play.
Yeah.
This, this might not be such an easy. I mean, okay, Anger is the first card. There's no Mountain right now.
So does he have a bird in his hand and he wants to, in a way to get a mountain? Is that the line here?
Yeah, it's possible. I think at some point, like you want to get Squee too. If we're going on for a while, he's gonna take 2 from the Sulfuric Vortex. He's at 16.
Ryan knows you can always count on drawing City of Brass versus Sly. So
Okay,
true.
he does have a wooded foothill, so that will be able to get to a mountain.
Yeah.
That will, but he hasn't discarded the anger yet.
So if he uses a green to discard the anger to get a realist, uses another green to play a bird, then
Then
he can
yep.
cast the realist. Yeah, I think that's the line he's going for.
You could throw in a squee, I think, to right. I guess you'd have to take a damage to do that.
Yeah, it might be worth it though, just to get it going.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Might as well. Might as well get a squee.
Yeah.
Modern Magic Emporium, yes, we all know that you can use it to bounce City of Traders, and it's great. And City Traders is not banned.
Oh, we got a sharpshooter.
Oh, wow.
So
So wait
sharpshooter's
a
gonna
minute.
target. Okay.
It's targeting, but this Fanatic Dying is going to untap the
Yeah.
Sharpshooter, so he'll still get to. Wow.
All right. Yeah, and so Ryan will clear the board and deal.
One to Aaron.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, and then if he passes the turn, he takes 2 from his own Sulfuric Vortex. There's the board. So yeah, that was a nice play. That was
Love it.
and
Love it.
is the sharpshooter was in his main, right?
Yes, he has
Okay. All
one in
right.
the main deck.
As I would say, I don't remember talking about that in sideboarding, but that's not even a card that I necessarily think of bringing in against Sly, but it certainly was very powerful there. Does like, are we at a point where we feel like Ryan might be favored in this position? If there's like
I
2 cards in Aaron's hand, it really depends of like if those are like Fire Blast or not. Like,
yeah, I mean he's in decent shape. I mean he has to eventually do something about the vortex and get some life gain going, unless he just drops a deranged hermit here, but he doesn't have he need more one more mana to do it.
all right, so okay, yeah, Wall of Roots. He's deciding how he wants to tap for Wall of Roots.
Interesting.
Yeah, Walrus really good with survival, especially if the game's like go on multiple turns because you're able to use it on your turn and then your opponent's turn.
Mm.
So Gabe's asking about like the sharpshooter and the if first all the creatures were tapped. So Goblin Sharpshooter came into play with haste, and he targeted presumably a Grim Lavamancer.
Mm.
If Aaron doesn't do anything, he's just able to untap and shoot down all of Aaron's creatures. So Aaron sacrifices the Mog Fanatic to target the sharpshooter, but because the Mog Fanatic goes to the graveyard, it untaps the sharpshooter, and then he's able to use the activations in response. So end
So
result is all the creatures die.
discarding a Genesis here to finally get the bird. I would imagine he'll hold off and wait to play the bird next turn so he can get the white mana. Oh, he's playing it this turn. Interesting. Why not wait and then next turn use Squee to go get Radiance Dragoons, or excuse me, use Squee to go get the Realist, and then play the bird, tap it for white with haste.
Uh, maybe the thought is if he's using his burn spells on birds, then you're happy. But I don't know. Like Lava Dart obviously is very efficient at killing a Birds of Paradise. So
Yeah, it's just Aaron has no pressure right now other than that Vortex, and Aaron's ahead on life. So I don't know. I don't know. We'll
oh,
see.
I gotta update life totals. Sulfuric Vortex has been dealing damage to both players. Yeah, like if Ryan's not able to win this game, that's kind of like then this matchup seems kind of I don't know if hopeless is the right word because he's had a decent amount of time, right? And he's had a survival that an active, and he's not able to stabilize. Yeah, but maybe that white source not being available to him really will bite him in the butt.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just wait. So trade wind's not bad. I mean, he can cast it and bounce the Vortex after it damages Aaron. Or he can just wait. Yeah, I just wait till end of turn, right? And bounce it.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's good. I mean, that's another answer. It doesn't require the white mana.
And if Aaron's spending 3 mana on his turn, then maybe that's okay too. I guess eventually you could get like a Kieran Ranger and then untap it so you're not taking two on your turn. Because in theory, Aaron could just play the Vortex and then we're kind of back in the same spot.
Mhm.
All right, Tradewind Rider. Let's get that one up here.
He's not going to do it right now, is he?
No, I think he's debating whether to attack or not. He just says go. We have a follow from CJ Tay 34. So welcome to the stream.
Thank you. Welcome. It is good seeing Trade Wind in play.
Yeah, it's a
Super nostalgic.
Rider's great. He bounces Vortex and then untaps and Dragoons.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, his bird might not live though. There's a lava dart in the graveyard. We see a price of progress cast. This is just for 2 damage.
So he only has one other card in his hand, though, right? He's about to draw one.
I
I think
think
this is
so.
during Ryan's end step.
Ryan falls to 8. And now Aaron falls to 12. He's gonna tap for a Mog Fanatic. Yeah, like
This game is probably over now.
you're saying who's winning. I don't think it's over.
I mean, I think I don't think there's anything Aaron can do, right? I
Oh,
mean, it was his double.
he could have flashed back that lava dart and killed that Birds of Paradise.
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to matter, is it?
It would have bought
Well,
him a
I guess he
turn.
for the dragoons.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he could use the Mod Fanatic too. That would have bought him 2 turns, right? Maybe not 2, maybe 1. We do see the Dragoons. There is not a Sulfuric Vortex in play. It is face up, but not in play. It would be a lot less exciting if the Vortex were still in play. We have a subscription from Modern Magic Emporium. So thank you, Will, for your
Thanks, Will.
support. And Ryan goes back up to 13. So things are looking good for the Trader in Survival. And I mean, if he gets a bunch of like, I guess he could. If Aaron doesn't play the Vortex, then Ryan could bounce his own Dragoons with the Trade Wind Rider. If Aaron does play the Vortex, you just let the Dragoons, or do you have to bounce the Vortex, right? So you don't take 2 extra damage.
Mm-hmm.
Let the Dragoons die, or you could, I guess, you could just, oh, you just pay Echo. I say if you let it die, then you could bring it back with Genesis, but you're not casting it that turn. We need to set you up with a dining button. Oh, a donation button. Those are slightly different. But all right.
So Aaron elects. It's Aaron's turn. He's trying to figure out. Okay, I thought maybe he had passed the turn for a minute there. All right, replaying it.
Yeah, and so I think Ryan just bounces it in a turn, right? So he just doesn't take the damage.
Yeah. Mm.
So how does Ryan have like a big finisher? Is it just like oh, you said deranged hermit is probably
Yeah, he's got Drained Hermit. He's got Mastercore.
deranged hermit on this board like isn't the most effective because there's like Mog Fanatics and Lava Darts that can get rid of the hermit, but I guess you're still attacking with 4/1/1s.
Yeah.
Does Aaron need to wait to draw a blast and then just aim it at Tradewind Rider? I mean, he's got a survival though. That's like if you're spending Fire Blast on a Tradewind Rider, you can just get another one.
Aaron's gonna scoop him up.
All right, so we got it even. So the Tradewind Rider deck does equalize. The Dragoons came to the rescue just at the right time. So it can be done. Sly can be beaten. All right, we'll go back over the decks. Take a quick look. Is there anything that we're overlooking? I mean, we saw Genesis and we saw Dragoons, right?
Yep. I mean, I think Wretch might have some game here. It takes him off threshold and takes away his lava darts.
Black
I
Black
don't
is
know.
pretty hard to cast.
I know. I know. I'm just saying.
It's like I can see that against like decks that because what are your black sources? It's 2 City of Brass and 4 Birds of Paradise and 1 Undiscovered Paradise.
Not great.
Yeah, that seems like I can maybe see it against decks that can't disrupt your birds, but like with
Or can't win without using the graveyard.
yeah, that kind of thing too. So I'm less high on that Wither Rich because I think it's just gonna be stuck in your hand. I guess I mean maybe if it's stuck in your hand, then you're just discarding it to survival. I don't know.
Ah, Gabe's with me. He's on the Withered Wretch train. I'm gonna let them know that they can start the third game whenever. Sound good?
Yep. And we did see Price of Progress out of Sly. That's a sideboard card. And we saw the lava darts, although one of them is in the main deck. But I imagine that the other ones are coming in.
Withered Wretch was basically uncastable when BK tested the deck.
Especially against Sly, I could see that. So I've built some ambitious mana bases in pre-modern, but yeah,
That might be too much.
the withered wretch in this list is quite ambitious. I might be playing Crypt Keeper. Do you know what that card is?
I do not.
It's
Is that
one in a black for a 2/1 that sacks to exile one target card.
does it cackle every time you cast it, or
No.
when you sacrifice it, like the Crypt Keeper?
No. What other like? I guess there's Nantuko Tracer. That one's when it comes into play, it puts a card in the bottom of the library. What other like withered wretch type creature cards that interact with the graveyard? Um,
Oh, I recognize the art.
we got Jackal Pup in play. So with Ryan not having a turn one play, this pup will get in for 2 damage. It's always nice when you're the slide deck that your Jackal Pup's connecting. It just feels like 3 damage. I guess it
Shock on a
is.
stick.
Yeah. Carrion beetles. Yeah, that would be a. Ryan draws 2 fetch lands, so he's got to shock himself to get 2 mana. He'll go to
Oh man, I haven't seen
16.
those beetles in so long.
Have you seen the Ragman?
I have seen the Ragman.
No, I think of a different card. It's from Champions of Kamigawa, and it's just carrion beetles. But I thought it looks like a Ragman. I can't remember the name now.
The Ragman was a fascinating character in the books. I don't know if you ever read the books.
No.
Like
Well,
Gathering Dark.
I've read one or two of them, but
Yeah, I think it was in a Gathering Dark where Joda as a character is introduced. Anywho,
Ball Lightning's in play. Is this Ball Lightning blocking, or is this Ball Lightning me blocked, or is the Wall Roots is blocking the Jackal Pup? So he'll take 6 down to 10. Looks like Sly is doing the Sly things. Ryan is just trying to hang on so he can get things set up. Yeah, Gabe, we were talking about like ones that are in creature form that would
creatures. Yep.
be able to be found with Survival of the Fittest. All right, a City of Brass, not quite the card you want to play against Sly. As
There
he
it
goes to
is.
9. Oh, but he's casting a Radiance Dragoons. All right,
Okay.
that one feels a lot better.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Do you think Aaron is just going to cast Ball Lightning right now? Because I think Ryan would probably block.
I
He'd be
think he probably would.
pretty happy. I mean, do you think there's a chance that he pays the Echo?
It's a really good blocker. I mean, if he doesn't have anything else going on, he might.
Like Radiance Dragoons, obviously gaining 5 is really good, but yeah, a 2/5 body is quite big.
All
If there
right,
is a Ball
you had
Lightning,
it.
I would block with this Radiance Dragoons. I mean, maybe maybe there's a thing where you just kill the pup, but if you kill the pup with the dragoons and block with the wall of roots, then you can't pay the echo. I guess you could block the pup and not block the ball lightning. Take 6. I don't like that. I think I would block the dragoon on the ball lightning.
I think the ball lightning has to be blocked here.
I think I would block.
Wow, he's going to 8. That is bold.
Okay, so
There's 6 cards in Aaron's graveyard right now.
um, Aaron should have taken 2, right? Maybe I had his
Yeah,
life total wrong before. Oh, he has 2 fetches in there, right?
yeah, he's got 2 fetches.
So he should be at 16 now. If it blocked the dragoon blocked it. I think, unless I'm getting some wrong.
Um, yeah, I think you're right.
Right, there's a second dragoon, so the second one was just in his hand. He had to take another damage to cast it, but then goes up to 12.
Never didn't have it.
There is a vortex, not a very timely vortex, I will say.
Untimely reinforcements.
Yes, the echo is not paid. He goes to 10. I, did we message them about life totals?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So how many? There's one, two, three, four, 5 cards in the graveyard. If we're trying to count for threshold for the barbarian ring that's in play. Yeah, we know he didn't block the ball lightning.
Yeah, he uses the dragoons to block the pup, and that's 2 damage to the pup plus the 2 from the fetch lands. So he should be at 16.
So Ryan's on his turn. He's figuring out what he wants to do with his mana. What plays would he be considering? I mean, he's just got to deploy. Oh, he has a survival in play. Yeah. Um, I was just thinking, what cards would he want to play from his hand? But yeah, with survival, he has access to his entire library. Um, what? You just get Monk Realist?
He's got to get rid of that vortex at some point. I mean, the sooner is better than later, but and he has the white mana to cast it.
We have a follow from Sketchy Keep. Something we can all relate to. Welcome.
Welcome, Sketch Keep. So who's the bad guy here? Trade win survival, right?
The only person who would say that would be Aaron.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
there is
So
an
yeah,
Incinerate
incinerate.
that will put him to 7.
6 cards. Wait, I thought he had 6 cards in his graveyard already. Did I miscount?
I think
I
he's
must
6 right
have.
now.
I must have miscounted.
What deck would Trade Wind Survival not be the hero against? That's a good question. It would have to be some like wild brew, like something new to the scene that people hadn't seen before.
I think Zoo is the hero a lot. Premodern Zoo.
I
That
mean,
is a
that's just because it's not well represented and not necessarily the best deck. But yeah, I do agree. Like a lot of times, you feel like the hero. You're fighting the good fight. Like you're trying to kill someone by attacking them with creatures,
yeah, just
and you don't have like burn spells like the slide deck does. But
your mana base is
it's
terrible.
Stompy. I don't. I think Trader in Survival is more of a good guy than Stompy. But all right, we're still on Aaron's turn. He's tapping more mana. There's a Fire Blast, so that will give him Threshold. This will put him to 3, and then the Barbarian Ring puts him to 1. And there's still a Sulfuric Vortex in play. don't think there's anything he can do.
It's looking grim for our hero.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything he can get. I mean, it would have.
Emerald Charm.
Yeah. Um,
Don't see an Emerald Charm on the list, BK.
he's. I think this will be the last turn as his life total just gets shoved aside as he dies of the vortex. So
Yeah.
Sly takes it down.
GG's.
Yep. So
Yep.
Aaron is putting up quite a run. So yeah, I will move over and we'll listen in to the players.
Oh,
Yep, yep. Oh well. Good games.
good games, man.
Can you guys hear us? Taking that as a no.
You guys, yes?
All right, we will message them to unmute us.
Done.
Looks like we can see some of the cards that Aaron was boarding in.
Another one of those in here.
So
Somewhere.
we did bring in a red
There it is.
blast.
Oh, I can unmute them too.
Hello, can you hear us now?
Hello, hello, hello.
We can.
Hey, guys.
Howdy,
Yes.
howdy.
Those Dragoons, where they...
I messed up. Yeah.
What play are you talking about?
The turn where you attack with pup and ball lightning.
Okay, that is something we talked about, whether how you line up your blocks. What was your thought process there, and what do you think was correct?
Well, what was correct was not what I did. So my hand was clogged down with a lot of like I had 2 dragoons, I had expensive stuff, and I had 3 survival of the fittest, so I really didn't have an engine going. So my thought process was I kind of want to clear the board a little bit because I'm not going to be able. I need to have a little bit of time to develop my own board, right? So I wanted to clear the pup out of the way. But in retrospect, the 3 life was way too much to pay for that opportunity because I knew I was going to have to be using my wall roots pretty aggressively based off of having 3 land and a bunch of forecasting cost stuff and not getting survival engine going yet. So
Okay. So Ryan, you've played this deck a lot. Is that correct?
yeah, quite a bit.
Do you feel like this is a matchup that you'll struggle with against Sly, or do you think there's the
No,
sideboard
I
plan?
think Sly's probably favored. I've beat Sly quite a bit, but if they can, especially when you have like 4 lava darts that you're able to get into, it gets pretty nasty. The way that I like to play and construct the deck is to kind of use Birds of Paradise as a resource. So that being said, a lot of times, like I might, with anger in the yard, be using Birds of Paradise as just like mana filter in those type of situations. So I'll only have so many times where I can, put something, from the toolbox into play if I don't have like a City of Brass or Undiscovered Paradise or something like that. So I like this because like we saw in the one game, like even Price of Progress, like usually with
Yeah.
these type of builds, like you play these 5 color green strategies and stuff like Price of Progress hurts you really bad. I really like to go more basic lands, like I have with this build. Um, I'm me playing the deck. I probably have close to a 50% win rate versus Sly. I don't know what it truly is. I don't have enough reps, but I don't hate the matchup by any stretch of the imagination.
So Aaron, is this a matchup that you've played much at all? From
I've never played this matchup actually. So I actually wasn't. I didn't really love a lot of things. Actually, that's not true. Like we were saying when we were sideboarding, there's a lot that I wanted to bring in, but there wasn't a lot that I wanted to take out. So in between games 2 and 3, I actually switched up the sideboard a little bit. I pulled out another bauble, and I pulled out one of the Price of Progresses. I thought Price of Progress could net me 4, but it just never did. It was always a 2-pointer.
Mm-hmm.
So I took one of those out, and I figure I can leave 2 in, and at worst they're a 2 damage. But I ended up, because the trade wind was so impactful in game 2, I wanted to hedge my bets a little bit and throw in a couple blasts. But
Okay.
Makes sense.
I didn't feel like I could bring in more darts. I left 1 in, but I didn't feel like I could bring in more. I already had the Fanatics, and that Fanatics and darts and shocks,
Yeah,
adding more
a
in
lot.
seems like a lot. I knew I had to, bring in some more damage. So
Okay. Yeah,
Fair enough.
it was kind of interesting when like the Sulfuric Vortex and the Trade Wind Rider. It's kind of like, or even in like the first game where you're just like trying to get to the point where you could prevent him from only casting 1-drops, but you were already at such a low life total, Ryan. That was kind of like you were in a pretty tricky spot either way. But
Yeah, I thought they were good games overall. I wasn't.
Oh yeah, I felt like I was fighting for it for sure.
Me too.
Dragoons is such a beating.
It does work.
Yeah. Life gain is, I think it's catching on, but I think it hasn't been played enough. More people need to play more life gain.
okay.
Yeah, it's got a big butt too, so that definitely helps. I would really love to go back and like replay that last game and having blocked what probably was the right block and see how that ends up, if that ends up being a difference.
Aaron chat wants to know if you're growing a mustache.
No, I just didn't shave today.
Chat wants you to grow a mustache.
No, it's so awful. This is it. This is as long as it gets and patchy. It's terrible.
So actually, chat doesn't. I want you to grow a mustache.
No. Don't,
I must ask you a few questions.
Yeah.
don't encourage this horribleness.
Fair enough.
I'm just
Anything
gonna
else,
look
guys?
through
My
chat to
cat's
see if
having
they
a good time over there.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, my cat.
We've had a dog Ralphing on camera in the
Yeah.
VSS before, haven't we?
That was
Yes,
like-
we have.
Now it's bath time.
We've got another dog here.
Aw.
I can't remember which PSS that was, but it was funny. But yeah. Yeah, if you guys don't have anything much to say, I don't think I really have any questions from the chat or really anything that I can think of. But sorry, Aaron, we were all rooting for Ryan for the Trade Wind
Yeah,
Survival
the
deck.
deck's way
So.
cooler than
Really?
mine.
Aw.
Yeah.
It's way cool, and Ryan's way cooler than me. So
That's
I
not true
get
at
it.
all. That's not true at all. Might have
No.
a better mustache, but that's about
Yeah,
it.
definitely have a better mustache. But no, we were saying ahead of this, like, it's so weird that this is only our second time playing, but we're always chatting and commenting on stuff in the group. We just haven't played a lot of games.
Yeah.
So this was awesome to get to play against Ryan again. Ryan,
Likewise.
your table game is awesome. So
I
always
appreciate that.
you're always intimidating.
Nah, not at all.
Well,
just
it's
play
like the
matter.
exact opposite of your persona. Like,
You do get dialed in, Ryan. I will
Yeah.
say, absolutely.
Well,
It's a good thing.
it's a mental game, so I guess.
Yep.
Until you just don't block ball lightning when you should.
Maybe you will next time. All right,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
Yep.
All right, thank you very much. I won't take any more time tonight.
Thanks.
All right,
guys.
thanks,
for the games,
guys.
gentlemen.
We'll see you guys later.
All right.
Later.
All right, Flint, let's take a quick look. I guess Our next match is between Brian Manolakis and Christian Weisner. We are going to go on a quick break as we get those players set up. So we will see you shortly. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.